Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of how conspiracy theories ruined my life. I'd advise you to watch part 1 before you watch part 2, link in the description, because it's just not the same if you watch it out of context. Anyway, I don't want to waste any more of your precious time. Let's go! Let's talk about how this happened. What are the factors that pushed the boulder down the hill and made us, Sisyphus push it back up only to roll back down. And also, don't forget, the pandemic is still not over. Every year they say, it's gonna be over by the end of the next year, and then you get to the end of the next year and they're like, well, no, okay. Let's talk next year, Social media and the almighty algorithms. This one is pretty obvious. We can thank Mark Zuckerberg and YouTube, for a lot of this. This is something I personally witnessed. Of course, you can't blame a platform for the stuff that its users post on it, right? I think there are specific laws where you can't actually do that. But the thing is, something you can blame Facebook and YouTube and other online platforms is actually their algorithms. I would actually advise you to watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. It actually explains it pretty well. The current algorithms that are in place are so aggressive that they basically radicalize people. If you're interested in a certain thing, the algorithm is going to spawn you to death with more and more stuff. And of course, once you stop engaging, it will bombard you with something more radical. This is what people have warned YouTube and Facebook over the last few years, but they didn't really listen. And I do also believe that Facebook and YouTube should be held accountable for what they did. I personally witnessed this with my mother that started watching conspiracy theories, basically ended up an anti-vaxxer. I had a terrible relationship with her because of it. But yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad, that whole period of my life, especially in 2020, around the second half. My mother started believing in Corona actually not being real, and then she would say, it is real, but it's actually just the flu, and it's not, it's man-made, it's not the real virus, and the vaccine is gonna kill you. All these things that I just didn't know how to handle it. I was extremely frustrated, and I was almost ashamed that this is my mother. This is the person that raised me, this is the person that took care of me, and I looked at her and I was like, I didn't recognize her, I almost felt like I lost all respect for her, and I didn't know what to do, because at the end of the day, that person is still your mother, that's still your parent, that's still someone that is always going to be part of your life. Even though that this thing happened, I still thought, I still want to have my mom in my life. But yeah, I'm very pissed at social media companies for doing this, to a lot of older people. Actually, I'm not alone. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who lost a parent to the COVID-19 conspiracy theories online. I would get into screaming matches with my mother. For example, my dad caught COVID in summer 2021. She was in denial. She at first didn't believe it. She just thought it's just flu, it's not COVID. But at the same time, she also thought if it's COVID, then it's just the flu. A lot of the times, I think people that have these beliefs have completely contradicting viewpoints that don't make any sense. I remember we basically made them take a test, and we sat on a call with them, and then the antigen test, or antigen, I don't know what the fuck is called in English, it came back positive, and I was just like, I knew it, I knew it. My younger brother caught it, and my dad, and my younger brother, he recovered pretty fast, but my dad did not. He had it really, really rough. He didn't have to go to the hospital, but he told me that he had a terrible time. Like his whole body hurt, he had issues breathing. And my dad is, basically the stereotypical, I don't talk about my emotions and I don't show my emotions kind of guy. I only saw my dad cry once in my whole life, okay? And that was when our cat died, and it was very emotional. But yeah, I never heard him complain. Like in my whole life, my dad almost never complained about anything, and certainly he never complained about health issues. And he's generally just a very healthy guy. But this one time, during he had COVID, he admitted to me, hey, I thought that I really need to call a doctor. I actually thought about the fact that I need to call myself some help. He ended up not doing it and ended up getting better eventually, but he still had to go to the doctor, and it took him like a month until he recovered, and he had a lung infection, which also took, pneumonia, I think. It took a while until he got better, and yeah, it didn't kill him. He thankfully didn't have to go to the hospital, but it sure as shit was fucking scary. And my mom, the whole time, she kept saying that, oh yeah, the only reason why he had it so bad is because when he was already sick, he drove on the bike back home. Yeah, because it wasn't COVID, it wasn't the virus itself, it was just because he drove back on the bike, Misinformation. It happened. It's still happening all around us, especially on social media, even though that social media platforms are trying to fight it, even though I think they are not doing enough. But there is a fine line between a free speech and, trying to stop people from spreading misinformation, right? Because we live in a free society where people can say whatever they want, but once that starts hurting other people, where are you going to draw the line? And it's not just your, crazy Aunt Becky that spreads rumors about the vaccine and turning you into a magnet on Facebook. It's also foreign actors. For example, in Europe, there was this branding agency that wanted to pay certain European YouTubers to spread misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine. When journalists and these YouTubers were trying to find where the specific branding agency was based in and trying to find the source, they actually they ended up finding them in Russia. So, Russia was butthurt about, us bad-mouthing them and their vaccine. Which, by the way, guys, why do you always call everything Sputnik? Can you not, just call it something else? Russian is a pretty interesting language. I'm sure you can find some kind of word to call your vaccine. It's not that hard. Education is another huge factor in this whole mess. A lot of people just don't understand how vaccines work. A lot of people don't understand how viruses work or how their own immune system works. It's something that most people don't even think about. I would say, invest more money into education, but I guess, who cares about kids, right? Fuck kids. Fuck the future of our planet. Why do people need to be more educated? I mean, can't think of a single reason. Now, the next point is quarantine and isolation. Something I already addressed in my little, alien story in the beginning. I was 16, I wasn't doing well mentally, don't judge me, okay? I wish aliens were actually for real, but I know if they are true, if they actually do exist, I don't think they would be able to come visit us, because the cosmos is so vast and so magnificent that, sadly, we would probably be dead until they would get here, or vice versa, they would be dead until we got there.
You ever experienced a period of missing time?
Oh yeah, as I said, I already addressed this. Quarantine is not good for people. Quarantine made some people absolutely fucking crazy. People just sitting at home doing nothing is a very bad idea. Of course, it was necessary, and it's still partially necessary to keep the new cases low, but yeah, it's yeah, it's just, if you're just in this bubble, completely cut off from your friends, your family, your colleagues, your whole normal life, you what are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna go on your phone or on your notebook, and you're gonna start looking at stuff that you would probably never look into, and some of it is okay, like making banana bread, or I don't know, learning how to knit socks. But some people, I guess, are into researching why the vaccine is gonna kill them. Which, by the way, I'm vaccinated 3 times now. Guess what? Nothing happened to me. Like, I'm still not, still not attracting any males. No allergies, no nothing. I am completely fine. And and most people, I think the vast majority of people that I know are completely okay. Actually, all of them. So yeah. I don't know, what are you waiting for? Get the fucking vaccine. Now let's talk about, I think, one of the most important aspects of this, and that is government failing miserably. Like, governments globally failing miserably to fight this, fight the virus, not just the virus, but also the misinformation spread and all around, the vaccine rollout, all that. I was talking to a friend about this, actually, and we were talking about how why do people engage in these conspiracy theories, and why do they not trust their governments to just why do they not trust scientists, And the thing is, I don't trust my government. I come from Slovakia. Slovakia is famously a very corrupt country, and I do not believe any of them, to be honest. But I do believe scientists, so at least that way I knew, okay, the vaccine is safe, I can just take it. I actually read multiple studies on conspiracy theories and their spread. Even a Chinese one. Guess what? China has problems getting their people vaccinated. A totalitarian regime, having issues vaccinating their own people. I guess they're not that successful in brainwashing their people. Who would have thought?
All right, now let's talk about the Chinese vaccine for a second. After all, I am paid by George Soros to spread the liberal gay agenda. Just kidding, obviously. I wish George Soros would sponsor me. Bibi needs to go on a vacation, Daddy Soros. Now, the Chinese vaccines Sinopharm and CoronaVac account for the vast majority of delivered COVID-19 vaccines globally, and the Chinese government told the world, specifically the third world, that the vaccine is effective against the virus. Yada yada yada, China bullshitting. But is it though? Overall, yeah, but no, who knows? Definitely not the Chinese government, apparently. For example, Sao Paulo officials initially claimed CoronaVac, the vaccine produced by Sinovac, showed 78% efficiency against mild to severe cases in the local trials. This is also what China claimed. However, then the Brazilian scientists did some testing, peep-boo, and they announced that the overall rate was only 50.4%, just about the threshold required for regulatory approval, once very mild cases were included. Oh, and also, China used the strategic window to push other agenda on third world countries, like the acceptance of Huawei network technology or Taiwan recognition. As you do. I mean, look, it's not like we Western capitalists are any better. Oh, you can't afford our fancy mRNA vaccine for a brown or black person? Well, then buy the Chinese one, you dummy. Get a free surveillance Yahweh phone while you're at it. China is an outspoken vaccination proponent, and about 88.7% of the Chinese population is vaccinated. But China has been criticized by the Human Rights Watch. When hasn't been China criticized by the Human Rights Watch? Never mind, in some cases, and I quote, for example, on August 31st, Hunan police went to Jiang Xiaoping's, I hope I said that right, and questioned him about why he refused to get a COVID-19 vaccine. Both the Ministry of Education and the National Health Commission stipulated that vaccinations should only be carried out with the informed consent. Mr. Jiang said he told them. He stated explicitly that he was not informed, did not agree, and did not want to be jabbed. Later, the police officers forced him into a car heading to a hospital with several people holding down his legs and arms. Mr. Yang was injected with a vaccine. And in case the authorities don't use physical force, they rely on other coercive tactics. In Minhe, the authorities announced that they would cut off welfare, retirement, or health insurance benefits for anyone who refused vaccination. In Huludao, schools conditioned students' enrollments on the vaccination of the pupil's entire family, including parents, siblings, and grandparents. Now, that's some next level shit. In Austria, we had a vaccine mandate for a few months, which was cancelled after the required vaccination rate was achieved, but I think this is how all the anti-vaxxers probably imagined what would happen after the government here announced that they would fine people for not getting the vaccine. But anyway, that was my rant about China. Now let's continue about something else.
Yeah, but what these studies basically said is that people are engaging in these conspiracy theories and not getting the vaccine because they don't trust their governments. Imagine, right? There's a global pandemic hits, and suddenly people lose their jobs. You know, they lose their livelihoods, they lose their homes. Some people end up on the streets, while the richest of the richest people are making bank off of this huge tragedy. People fell through the cracks. People that the government was supposed to help, you know, the government of their country was supposed to help them, but they didn't. I think a lot of very vulnerable people started engaging with these conspiracy theories because suddenly you lose your job, you don't know what to do, you're stuck at home all day, and you're trying to find someone to blame this on. And I think a conspiracy theory like that is a very, very reasonable, almost reasonable like scapegoat, you know, if you're not educated enough and misinformed. It makes sense why people would do this if they feel abandoned by their governments. I live in Austria, and people here, you know, in Europe we have very good like social benefits and all these like social systems that are put into place to help protect people. But even in Austria there were a lot of people that suffered under the pandemic a lot, you know, and in Slovakia, like the country where I come from, the same, you know. Sadly, Slovakia is still a financially developing country, and it hit a lot of people very hard. So I almost feel like I almost feel sorry for certain people that fell into this, because in a way they chose to vent out their frustrations and their misery and their anger in this sort of way, and maybe even rebel against the system, against their government, by refusing what they were giving them, what they were advising them to do, as sort of like a fuck you to you. I think in Portugal, was it Portugal and Spain? I don't know, I'm gonna put it up. They actually had a very successful vaccine rollout, and it was because the government wasn't responsible for it, but a different, completely non-political agency was responsible for it. It was actually very efficient and successful, and a lot of people get vaccinated because of it. So, you know, maybe in the future when something like this happens, governments shouldn't be responsible for solving people's issues. I don't know, because they should be responsible for them, right? Like, you are representatives, you are people that make the shots. You should be like trying to protect people and trying like care about people, but people don't trust you because politicians are not known for being good people.
Hey people, Bibi Editing is here to tell you about why people don't trust experts anymore. Anti-vaxxers believe the COVID-19 vaccine, or any vaccine really, will either give you autism or kill you. Flat earthers don't trust observations made by astronomers, and QAnon believers don't trust anyone besides Donald Trump or this weep. Yeah, that's Ron Watkins, or also known as QAnon or Q. You know, allegedly. Nothing against sweeps, obviously. I do love me some nice animated Japanese manga. The sentiment across conspiracy theories is something along the lines, I only trust what I've seen with my own eyes. Basically, they don't trust anyone or anything besides themselves, and they definitely don't trust people that make those observations for them, you know, like scientists. Well, to not make this even longer than the video already is, I would summarize this as people not trusting elites anymore, intellectual or political ones. A lot of expert scientists or institutions have come under fire in the last few years, exposing their lack of morals, their greed, or their other various shortcomings, which made people very distrustful of them. And who wouldn't? Does Big Pharma care more about its profits than your health? Probably. Do certain politicians actually believe in the things they are saying, or are they paid off by lobbyists? People these days don't trust authorities or any experts or elites that easily because capitalism itself undermines this trust in experts. At the end of the day, nothing that is produced under capitalism can be ethical or moral when your main objective is to be profitable, which causes people to lose trust in reputable sources and instead look for half-truths online.
Okay, kids, it's time for it's story time. It's time for story time. Story time. I'm gonna tell you the story about how I got my shots. I already told you that my mom is an anti-vaxxer and she thinks that the COVID vaccine is gonna kill you. I had to get it secretly because I actually do live with my mom. Financial reasons, you know, the pandemic was pretty brutal too, as everyone probably. And also, she helps me out, you know. What can I say? I live with my mom. Deal with it. Am I being self-conscious about this? It doesn't matter, okay? I live with my mom and I wanted to get the vaccine because I am not crazy and I wanted to protect myself and everybody else. So I signed up for the vaccine in Austria at first. And actually, I did get a date pretty soon after that, like a couple weeks after that. I got my first shot in at the beginning of June. And when I got that, the day, like when I was supposed to get my shot, I was very excited. I was like, I'm getting it. I almost felt like a teenager sneaking out of their like parents' house to go like hang out with their friends and go to like this forbidden secret party where you do like drugs or whatever, drink alcohol. Yeah, that's how I felt. I never did that to my parents actually. I was a pretty like good kid, but I did get my shots.
Hello, darkness.
I actually need like glasses for this because like I was like being like a fucking CIA agent, like hire me, Wait, let me exchange this glasses. Like, okay, this is better. All right, setting the scene. So it's the day before my shots. I have to go to Bratislava because it was early in the morning and I had to get there soon. So I tell my mom I'm at my boyfriend's place. And I also tell my older brother because he was there. I lie to everyone. I tell everybody that I'm going to my boyfriend's place, but I am not going to my boyfriend's place. I'm actually going to see my dad and my younger brother in Bratislava to go get my shots. I buy the ticket, for the train. I even freaking, because I like posting stuff on Instagram. I like sharing stuff, maybe even oversharing. And I like blocked my mom on there and my older brother just so they don't see where I was going, even though my older brother has nothing against vaccines, but I just didn't want to blab to my mom. I'm like a ninja thinking about everything. I even told my boyfriend to, in case if my mom asks, on this day I was with him. So I go to my dad's and I tell my dad and my younger brother to not tell my mom, of course. Then I wake up super early and I go get there and I'm super nervous because my mom was telling me that I'm gonna die if I take this vaccine. So of course that rubs off of you, rubs on you. Whatever. I've been like recording for 2 hours. Who cares? Yeah, I was scared. I didn't know what was gonna do to me because there were like a lot of talks about like side effects and whatever, which are not even side effects. It's just your immune system reacting to the vaccine. Like, god fucking damn it. I go there, I get my shot, and it was fine. I boarded the train back to Vienna because I had to go to work after my shots. I got there, worked, got myself home without anyone ever realizing I got my shots, okay? The second time it was the same thing, but my mom ended up realizing anyway. But it was kind of my fault. It was actually my grandma, because we were moving to a new apartment. I forgot to throw out the little written confirmation that I got my vaccine, like my first one. And for some reason, my grandma found it, and she, even though my name was on it, she didn't. Well, she's probably blind, but she brought it to my mom, and my mom saw it, and well, she figured me out. And now you're probably asking yourself, okay, why do you even care if your mom knows or not? You're an adult, you don't, she can't do anything to you, right? Well, even despite all, because my mom actually told me that if I get the vaccine, she's gonna stop supporting me, which I did think that was kind of like empty threat, because I don't think that she would actually do that, and she didn't have and ended up doing that anyway. But I don't know, like, it did scare me, because I'm not in a very good financial situation. If you have a job for me, do let me know. She said that, also something incredibly fucked up that I still don't really forgive her for that. I mean, it's not true. I think I kind of already got through it, but I was very angry at her. But yeah, I also didn't want to lose her. I didn't want to fight with her, because at that point we were like fighting all the time, and I didn't want, like, just didn't want to lose my mom, even though I kind of already, oh god, now I'm getting emotional, even though I kind of lost her to the whole conspiracy stuff. But even though all that happened, we kind of like, she still sadly believes in all those conspiracy theories. Our relationship is actually quite okay right now. We agreed to not talk about COVID and not to talk about the vaccine or anything like that. I told her I'm going to do whatever I want, and she can't stop me. I got my third shot, and she knew about it. We're good as long as we don't talk about it. But what else is there to do? Like, it's fucking crazy, but it's sadly our reality. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person. Families are complicated. So this is my story. My COVID, pandemic, quarantine, conspiracy story. This is it. I hope you enjoyed it. But before I go, I want to give you some pointers if you are also dealing with family members like that, because I googled this shit a lot, and I have some tips for you. Number one, don't call them idiots. Don't curse at them. Don't tell them they're stupid. Don't insult them. It's not gonna help you or your case. It's just gonna make them double down eventually, and only alienate them more and not trust you. So don't do that. I know it's hard, because I actually did that a lot. But don't do it. It's not gonna help you. Another tip: try talking to them and just explain. Don't explain the facts to them. Just like, oh, this is how it is. Because we already talked about beliefs versus facts. Like, people don't care about facts, but they do care about feelings. So try explaining them how their beliefs affect you. Like, kind of pull on their emotions, play around with them a little bit. See how that goes. If they don't care how that makes you feel, or are not willing to compromise, or at least not talk about certain things with you, or not allow you to do certain things, then I'm sorry, they're probably lost case. If they're not willing to compromise and they're not willing to see the truth, because there is actually an objective truth in this sort of scenario, okay? Like, this is not about opinions. This is about, there is a truth here, okay? And it's take the vaccine. So if nothing comes of that, you can, of course, you can try talking to them a bit more, give them more time, etc. Maybe expose them to some, to other opinions, but facts. But if they are not going to change their mind, you need to make peace with that. Either try to compromise with them and agree with them that you're not going to talk about certain things. Like, for example, I do this with my mother. We just don't talk about COVID. We don't talk about vaccines. We don't talk about tests, any of that. I do not care. I don't want to hear her opinion. I'm pretty sure she doesn't want to hear my opinion. And we are actually able to cohabitate, actually be in a parent-child relationship that way. If this is not something that you know they can provide you with, then you need to probably remove yourself from that situation, because it's not good for you. It's not going to be good for you. Educate yourself about how you can protect yourself. Like we said, if you have someone at home or you're living with someone that you are not able to, you know, you don't know if they could potentially catch COVID and then pass it on to you, just get vaccinated. That's the most important thing. Wash your hands, wear your masks, and yeah, get your shots. And just like keep your distance, you know. You can't really do anything more than that. You could try seeking out help from maybe a different relative or a friend, but yeah, it's sadly a shitty situation that you can't really do much about, and I hope it gets better. Sadly, we can't really do much more, because you can't change people. You can't make them behave differently. People, you know, in our Western world, we live in a free society where people can say and believe in what they want. And yeah, that's just partially what freedom is. People are free to believe in lies. They're free to believe in complete and utter nonsense. It's their right to choose that. Of course, it's different when they start harming you through that, but yeah, we already talked about that. All people don't belong on the internet. They shouldn't have access to the internet, but somehow they do. Funny how they figured it out, you know. It's so entertaining to me, because I remember my mother, or like even my dad, they would like tell me not to spend as much time on the computer, and now all I see them do is like be on their phone or on the computer. I mean, mostly my mom told me that, but yeah. If there's something that I'm gonna leave you with, it's probably this: don't believe everything that you see online, because 99% of what you see online is just straight and utter garbage. Do your own research, even though I hate this fucking quote, because people use it as an excuse for them using misinformation. Do your fucking research. Use legit sources from experts and people that know what they're saying, not some kind of doctor that claims to be a doctor but somehow lost his qualifications years ago because of whatever scandal that happened. There's so many fucking idiots online. Trust science. Science is the only tool we have to fight ignorance. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I want to make some cool videos for you this year, so click the bell and the subscribe button and the like if you like this video. Yeah, I just want to take this channel more seriously this year, because I am having a lot of fun making these videos. So yeah, do that. And yeah, let me know about your story, your COVID story. If you have any good ones, I can laugh about mine, but I used to cry about this stuff a lot, because I was getting emotional today, but I thought if I did this like a couple months ago, like I would be legit crying right now. Thank God I'm not. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day, and I maybe will see you next time. Who knows? Bye bye.